Johnny Depp has never been one to chase sympathy, but a recent heartbreaking message, attributed to the actor, has resonated deeply with fans around the world. Not because of its drama, but because of its raw restraint. In words that felt more like a private journal entry than a public statement, Depp reflected on years of emotional exhaustion, personal loss, and the heavy price of living under constant scrutiny. The message did not point fingers or reopen old wounds. Instead, it spoke softly about endurance, disillusionment, and the fragile hope of finding peace after a long storm. At the heart of the message was a sense of profound weariness. Depp described feeling stripped down to his most basic self, having lost not only relationships and trust, but also the illusion that truth always arrives on time. He spoke about how fame, once a creative gateway, had slowly transformed into a cage where every word, expression, and silence was interpreted, twisted, and archived forever. The tone was not bitter, but reflective, as if the actor had finally stepped back far enough to see the full emotional cost of a life lived in public view. What struck many readers was Depp's admission that pain does not always come from a single event, but from accumulation. He wrote about how repeated disappointments, betrayals, and misunderstandings can quietly erode a person's sense of identity. According to the message, the most difficult part was not losing work or reputation, but losing the simple comfort of being believed without question. That loss, he suggested, creates a loneliness that cannot be cured by success, applause, or vindication. The message also touched on resilience, though not in the glossy, motivational way often expected from celebrities. Depp did not frame himself as a hero who conquered adversity, but as a man who survived it day by day, often unsure if survival itself was enough. He acknowledged moments of darkness when retreat seemed easier than continuing, and moments when silence felt safer than honesty. In doing so, he humanized an experience that many people face in different forms, making his words feel intimate despite his global fame. Family and inner circles appeared as quiet anchors in the message. Depp expressed gratitude toward those who stayed when it was no longer convenient or beneficial to do so. He wrote about how a small number of loyal voices can matter more than millions of strangers, and how genuine connection becomes invaluable when public perception turns cold. These reflections suggested that, for him, healing has less to do with reclaiming status and more to do with preserving authenticity. Another powerful theme was forgiveness, not as a public gesture, but as a private necessity. Depp implied that holding on to anger only prolonged the damage, and that learning to let go was an act of self-preservation rather than surrender. He did not claim to have mastered forgiveness, but described it as an ongoing, imperfect process. This honesty added weight to the message, showing that recovery is rarely clean or linear. The heartbreak in Depp's words was not dramatic or theatrical. It was quiet and heavy, the kind that settles in after the noise fades. He spoke of learning to live with scars rather than erase them, and of accepting that some chapters close without resolution. Yet beneath the sadness, there was a restrained sense of resolve. The message suggested that while the past cannot be rewritten, the future can still be approached with intention, caution, and a renewed commitment to self-respect. For fans and observers, the message felt less like a statement and more like a confession, shared reluctantly but honestly. It reminded many that public figures are not immune to the emotional consequences of conflict and judgment, and that survival does not always look triumphant. Johnny Depp's heartbreaking message did not ask for pity or validation. It simply offered truth in its most vulnerable form, leaving readers with a lingering sense of empathy and a deeper understanding of the man behind the myth.